Hi, I'm Ash.
I'm Em. Welcome to Saphic Unplugged. Did you want to say it?
Saphic Unplugged.
Okay.
I didn't know if you wanted to say it at the same time or.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. Either way. So, we're going to be reacting to some stories, and we'll see. We kind of do a mixed bag of Am I the A-holes? Ask a lesbian. We might throw some other subreddits in as time goes on, but we'll let you know.
Mm-hmm.
But we just like to find things that are pretty recent and give our opinions. So I
Yes,
found,
and advice.
yes. And I found this one, and I picked it because I hear about this all of the time, and it's something relatable, and I feel like we both are going to have, um, we'll both have some takes on it and maybe unique perspectives on
Mm-hmm.
it. Or, well, they're probably not so unique considering a lot of people probably have experienced it either on one side or the flip side. But, anyways, so this one says, woman I just started dating hasn't dated women before. I, 32, went on a few dates with a woman I feel compatible with, 35. She seems so cool. We have a lot of shared interests and meet a lot, and I think it meant to say and she meets a lot of what I'm looking for in a partner. But she's older than me and only has dated men, and I feel really put off by it. And I'm trying to talk myself out of being put off by it. I think I'm worried about feeling like an idiot or falling in love and then they find out they're not gay. I also resent them because they just, uh, oh, well, I wanted to,
Continue,
oh, okay,
continue,
yeah,
continue,
I can
continue.
feel your thoughts. Okay,
Uh-huh.
I also resent them because they just started dating men, as if it's enviable, lol. She seems very genuine, but there's something about it connected to my own trauma that's putting me off. Also, I should add that I live very rurally and my options are limited, so it feels like dating her is such a clear choice, but something's stopping me. Anyone been through something similar, or have experience, hope, advice? Question mark. Can I go? I feel like yours is going to be a little longer of an answer.
Go ahead.
Okay, so one thing I do understand being wary of this because there are women that come out late in life, but they it depends how she's acting. Where for me, the context matters. If she is still very male centered in other ways, it would be like I would be a little bit hesitant. Not that I wouldn't give it a chance, but if she's still male centered, it's going to show up. And that's going to tell you how ready she is to really live the lifestyle or not. If she is still very connected to exes or has a lot of male friends still, not that you can't have any friends of different genders, but is she like, I don't know, the cool girl that, likes to, be one of the
Mm-hmm.
guys and like, flirts with men still? Like, how does she carry herself? That does matter. I think if she's somebody that really doesn't seem that interested in men, then I think you don't have to worry as much as you think you do. Now, they're saying that they're worried that she might realize she's not really gay. I think something important to really dig into when you're talking about it's something you could really just put into regular conversation. Ask about her past because something about even people that are late in life, if they really are gay, they're gonna have crushes from when they were younger, even if they didn't act on them. Like from my personal experience, I did not have as much experience um, when I really came out, but I did have some experience, and I also still had crushes that I did not act on through my whole adolescence. So I already knew that I wasn't straight because I already had like feelings for women. I already had crushes, and it was age appropriate as I grew up. Like some of them were cute and innocent, and then so but then it got like more romantic and more like had like desire came in after those hormones. So like once you're like once you get into being a teen and stuff, it kind of ages up with you. So I would ask not about her past in an accusatory way or in a kind of like interrogation way. Just ask with curiosity, and her answers are going to really help you. Now, even if she hasn't had a lot of crushes, that doesn't mean, oh, she's not gay at all. But I do think it could help ease some of that, worry for you if you ask her. And because with attraction, you know her, you can know who you're attracted to, even if you don't get a chance to like do things with them. And speaking from my experience, I knew who I was attracted to, and I did live in a lot of rural areas myself where there wasn't a lot of dating with that. And I also was, really careful, just because of my upbringing. I didn't want to blow up my own spot. So I was really careful, and I was always respectful of, you know, them and what, if they weren't gay or if they weren't, into me or whatever. But I do think like I have seen both sides of the coin with this. I have seen women kind of like dip their toe in and run back to men. I have seen women really like be done with men. Like in my case, I there's no worry about that. Like, but what really like for me, it's like, yeah, I did date men. I did, and I had long-term relationships with them. And it was hard to date women because a lot of women, well, I don't want to say a lot because I wasn't dating a ton of women, but when I was dating, getting to know women, that was a barrier. A lot of them would not give me a chance. And then I was like, well, how am I going to get experience? And when I talked to them, I still did explain like I've had crushes, I've been in love before with, like with a woman, like this isn't really a phase for me because this happened my whole life and I can connect the dots on those experiences through my whole life. And they still were like not willing to give me a chance because, some other person burnt them. And I understand where that worry and those traumas come from. And so I'm not going to invalidate them. However, I do think, yeah, for example, these context matters where for me, men are not part of my life like that. Like obviously family or things like that, but I don't have men around me. So this is why I brought up how it matters how she lives her life. Because for me, like it wasn't that hard when I came out because I was already decentering men. I was already pretty much living a gay lifestyle before I really came out all the way. And so it wasn't that hard of a transition to having a girlfriend and things like that. And there weren't really like things that it wasn't really like a big change. There are some, like, there's societal changes where some people, we've talked about if someone doesn't take us seriously or not. But as far as like, it was pretty seamless in starting to date you
Mhm.
when it comes to you fit into my life, as it is.
Mhm.
And I feel like I do with you.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think those
100%.
things matter too. Like, think about um, if you are dating, like, how compatible are you? Is she really ready to, um, is she really, what really matters is she really ready to live the lifestyle? And another thing that matters, almost done, I know you're ready.
It's okay.
Another thing that matters is gauging how, if she knows anything about the community, because some people are willing to learn and that's totally fine, but there are some people where it's almost like they get defensive and they don't really want to learn and they don't really feel part of the community and they're kind of um resistant. I would, and don't interrogate her, but ask things with curiosity. you know um like I knew about some cultural things. Like she doesn't have to sit here and teach me there's still things that I learned, sure, but there's things that I just kind of know by reference because, well, if you hadn't seen, we talked in one of our videos where we were talking about our backgrounds, if you haven't seen that. But I did mention how, I thought I was bi for the longest, but fortunately that did help in this context where I did feel part of the community. So when there's like references like the L word or things like that, I actually watched it, know about those things, and actually, but there are people that even though they're not straight, they haven't really dived into those things. So I don't like to say it's a way to like check how gay
Mhm.
she is, but in a way, it is a way to see like if she doesn't know, that doesn't mean don't date her, but it's just something to know. And you can see by her behavior how ready she is to really like live the lifestyle as far as with her actions. And with actions, you'll find out. And especially if somebody is not ready to like legit have a girlfriend, you're gonna see by their actions because like
they're gonna be distant.
Yeah.
There's gonna be pushback.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna preface this by saying I do like that there are two sides of the coin here. There's me. I've been out since I was a teenager, and then for you just come into yourself fully.
Yeah, but
recently.
Mine is weird because I would be.
You always knew, but
also like I'd be out to friends like in my 20s.
Well, what I'm saying,
too,
I'm just saying, just as a I know that, but I'm just saying it's just it's cool how there's going to be two different perspectives on this from that side of it.
Yeah.
And how our thoughts are very similar on it, but they're also, coming from my background and the things that I've experienced.
Mm-hmm.
With this, let me get my thoughts back in order. I'm gonna read this.
But yes, I'll say one thing. But you were right. I wasn't like out to the world. I was not like, hey, So there is a difference.
Yeah, like I've been a lesbian. Yeah,
right,
for a long time.
Yeah. Yes.
Even though, and I'll sway into this a little bit in what I'm about to say. Just a second.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, one thing I forgot to say, you can also tell by chemistry, like, is she doing cute little things with you? Because if she's into you, you're not going to have to initiate holding her hand every time. You're not going to have to initiate every kiss.
Yeah. And the way it feels when you kiss her.
Yes.
Okay. So with this, my advice and my experience, for me, I can understand this. Now, this is coming from an earlier stage in my life. Earlier on in my life, when I was in my late teens, early 20s, it was difficult for me to date women or girls or whatever the fuck age, you know what I mean, women, that it was hard for my brain to conceptualize a woman being with a man because I didn't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But that also is kind of like a contradiction because of some things that I forced myself to do when I was younger to think I was appeasing other people and lying to myself. But I never understood, and it did for a very short time. I was very immature, and I was kind of grossed out by it, very, very mildly, when I was younger. And I can understand where she's coming from with this. I also resent. I didn't get to that point where I was resentful.
Mm-hmm.
It, as an adult, as a 37-year-old, I don't see. I don't look at it like this.
Yeah.
I don't look at it as though. I don't resent that. It's not bad that another human being had experiences in a life before you came into it. And if they dated,
culture is so straight that people can really. If they
dated men, they dated men. But I wanted to say that part. I'm kind of saying things so I can get to the full length. I'm just kind of touching on some things that jumped out to me first. But I can understand the concerns of you dating this woman and her, and that kind of like that fear of her going, and then going back to dudes. Like I can understand that. I relate to that because I've had a lot of experiences where I've dated women and I've caught them cheating on me with men, or I have, you know, happened to glance down at their phone and they're texting a dude to meet up with them to fuck them. I've experienced where I was dating a girl and then she was dating another girl and a dude all at once.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's a whole other story. I could go off on a whole side quest on that story.
Right now.
That was fucking nuts. But I've had experiences that really made me wary of women who have dated men before. But like I said, as I've gotten older, I've learned to accept human beings for human beings. And I've learned to accept that everybody is a person with their own past, their own experiences. And like Emma was saying, it has to do with the connection you have with the person, the chemistry you have with them, how well you intermingle and mesh.
One thing, though, I want to pause. A key word that you said, though, is everyone has a past. And this goes with what I was saying. If it's in the past, that's different. Yes. And with a lot of those past experiences you're talking about, it wasn't in the past because you were still engaging with them. You didn't know. Yeah. So that's not on you. That's not blaming you for being with them. I'm just saying there's a difference between...
It was them that weren't being on... They weren't being honest with me.
But that's why I said it will come out by their life and their behaviors.
Yes.
And I'm sure, you know, it is tough, but you do have to be observant to kind of watch that. Yes. If they always have dudes they can call for, not even just for those things, if they always got a dude on call when they need a ride or some random shit, no, because no girl's got a dude on call to rescue them unless something's going on. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm not trying. Family's different, but I'm just saying there's certain behaviors to look out for.
And you're not bad for you're not bad for being worried about feeling like an idiot. Just don't get too hard on yourself about that because you're not an idiot. You genuinely like this person. You genuinely like this woman. Like Em said, I would give her a chance. I would talk with her. I would inquire about her past in a way that is safe and comfortable for both of you. Yeah. And make it less of like you're accusing her and more like, hey, you know, I'm curious, you know, did you ever feel X, Y, and Z way about any other women in your past? You know, there's a way to effectively communicate without making someone else feel like they have to go on the defense.
Or tell a story about like your first crush and then be like, what about you? Because that's very disarming. You're sharing. And then if you ask about her, it would be a natural. Yes. It'd be like a natural way to do that without sounding clunky or that you're trying to gather data. And then it will give her insight on you and also take your time.
Yeah. It's a good segue into a proper conversation and not have to worry about making her uncomfortable. And with her being a little older, you know, a couple years older than you, you know, I can see how that might be a little mildly intimidating.
They're only 3 years older, but she's older. That's still, I'm like, that's not much.
That can still kind of make someone feel,
I guess,
in some ways. Hey, there are people where it does.
I feel like, if it's like 5 years or more, but like 3 years, really? But whatever, that's fine if it does.
You never know. You know, you don't, it might be a little harder for this person to feel like they can communicate with her in such a way. But at the same time, if that's another sign too, if it's hard for you to communicate with that person, then do you really want to be with them? Because communication, you know, shouldn't have to be hard.
Yeah. I would say take your time and you could keep getting to know them. Don't rush it because you don't have to.
I wanted to touch on something else.
Oh, sorry.
And with feeling put off by the fact that this person dated men, that's okay. Like, just don't let those feelings win, and just like I said, just, you know that it's just a part of their life, and it's just a part of who they are, and it's, you don't have to fully accept it. Just know that they're a human being, and to also just remember to um you have to make sure you focus on self-preservation as well, and don't put yourself in a position that you feel you might get hurt. And that's, again, circling back to asking questions, because you want to get as much information as you can so you can make the right judgment call for yourself, because you also don't want to put yourself in a position where you fall in love with a person, or find out they're not gay, or they're not really gay, or whatever,
or they're not ready, because they could still be,
you don't want to put yourself
they could still be gay and they're still scared and they're not ready, because it is tough to come out later. A lot of people will be like, oh, how do you know? And they'll ask all these weird questions like, well, you dated men, it was different this time, and all this weird shit, and be like, how do you do it with women? It's so annoying. I do not engage in conversations like that. I'm just kind of like, I don't care to explain nothing. But yeah, I mean,
you don't want to put yourself in a position where you end up doing all of these things, and then she ends up leaving you for a dude, or she ends up cheating on you with a dude, or some weird shit, because that's really going to make you feel more like crap if that happens, because that's happened to me, and I know how that made me feel, and it made me feel like I was this is another thing that I wanted to touch on. The times that I have experienced where I've walked in on a girlfriend having sex with a guy, or I've walked in,
traumatizing.
I've looked over and I've seen text messages, or I've, been shown them on purpose because the girls asked. Mm-hmm. But,
Unhinged.
that made me feel like I was being used as an experiment. Like, see, that's the thing too, is that you don't want to put yourself in a position where you feel like you're being used as an experiment for a woman who doesn't know what the fuck she is, or how she identifies, because I've been told straight to my face that I was being used as an experiment.
That is wild.
And and I was strung along for 2 or 3 months thinking that this person genuinely liked me, when in turn, I walk in on her screwing some guy, and then she's like, oh yeah, I was just using you as an experiment, and I just realized I'm not gay.
That's scary.
And I'm like, really? I spent all this, I invested 3 months into being with you, and I like you, and I care about you, and then you're going to turn around and do that. And of course it was more dysfunctional than that, because that was a bad time in my life and all of that, but that's another whole segue. But yeah, you don't want to put yourself in those positions either, where you can get heartbroken or hurt, or drag yourself through the mud unnecessarily just to try and make things work.
But I do have a controversial take. Actually, it's not controversial. It's just different than what I've heard people talk about. Here's the thing, though. Although I agree with what Ash is saying, there is no guarantee when you date anybody that your time is going to be worth, like, basically sunk cost fallacy, like your investment, so to speak, for lack of a better, even though I don't like saying it like that, but for lack of better term in the moment, I'll say it that way. There is no guarantee whether you're dating, whether you're dating in the gay community, whether you're dating in the straight community, because I've done both now. There's no guarantee that anytime you put into anyone, they're not going to cheat on you. And it's a special dagger to the heart, of course, if they're doing that to you with men, I'm sure. However, like, speaking from someone that has been cheated on in general, there's just no guarantee that your efforts or what you put in will really be like what you receive. And that
will
can
only
be
happen if you
true.
find the right person.
Well, yes, but I'm just saying with dating, it can be messy and like that. Not that anyone deserves what you're talking about. I'm just saying often we hear, I'm scared, so therefore I will not like, give anything. It's always like this do or die situation, kind of how people talk. And it's like, look, you don't have to swear your fealty to this woman.
Mm-mm.
What you can do is get to know her, keep talking to her, go on dates, but keep it fun, keep it breezy. Don't you haul, don't think this is the one. Just casually date her. And that doesn't mean you have to sleep with her. You could test chemistry with a kiss, with little cute things. See if you even like how she flirts. Something I've noticed is a lot of late in life women, they come in and they flirt fucking weird. Or they try, like when they flirt, it's like they're trying to flirt like they're going to appease a dude with how they talk. Um,
Mm-hmm.
um, one of the funny questions I asked her when we started dating, well, I knew the answer because I'd asked other women that I dated, and I say dating in more of a sense of, not long term, but I'd ask them, hey, do I seem new like when I'm flirting with you? Because I wanted to know. I wanted to know if how I was expressing was being received, and I wanted to know if I felt awkward. But they were actually like, no, you're normal. And they were actually pleasantly surprised. But that's because it came natural to me to like flirt with what I would never like talk to a woman that like I'm talking to a dude. To me, that just doesn't make sense. But anyways, I wanted to make sure, and I asked, and yeah, like I wanted to make sure that they felt, or if I'm like, oh, is there any pet names you like to be called, or just I like to really get to know the person of their preferences in that way. But if she's sending a text like, good morning, how'd you sleep? That's a little sus.
Mm-hmm.
Now we say good morning, or we ask each other how we sleep, but usually it's like,
Good
hey,
morning,
beautiful,
baby.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like flowery, the kind of like how lesbians talk. Like, it's like we
Yeah.
literally are just kind of like, it's cutesy.
Yeah,
It's,
we basically text the way that we talk to each
well,
other.
yeah, but in I mean, it should feel natural and like that. I'm not trying to say the words people have to use, but the good morning, how'd you sleep, just blanket, deadpan, no emojis. That's how men text. And there's some women where they try and replicate the way that they receive love back to women because they're like lost. To me, okay, I'm not trying to be, in a way it's a little bit of a red flag because it shows she may be out of her depth, and it shows she may be, it doesn't mean you can't work with that, but
yeah,
I don't know. For me, I look out for certain
there are
signs.
some femme lesbians that like it when masks text them like that, but that's very much so male centered. That's very much so the femme expecting the mask lesbian to be more of a dude.
I mean, to
and
each their
less
own. If
of
people
a
like
woman.
if people like it, fine. But if it's something, because they don't seem to really like how men are, so I'm saying,
Well, what I'm saying is, is that
does she flirt the way you like to receive it? I should say it more like that. Are you compatible with that?
What I'm saying is it's like that femme mask dynamic where the femme expects the mask to act more on the male spectrum of things and less like they are an actual physical woman.
Yeah.
Well,
we don't
which
know
drives
what they
me
are
nuts.
like.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just going off of your example.
Oh, yeah.
And why, like that sound, it just reminded me of how some feminine mask dynamics are, and how that is a whole other can of worms within itself, and how that just has never computed for me either.
That's why I think I break a lot of those late in life stereotypes, because a lot of women,
even late in life, it's
just for example, a lot of women that come out, and if they're femme or femme leaning, they usually do want like more of that dynamic. And I'm like, no, like I'm dating a woman, like I've been waiting to have a girlfriend for a very long time, and like I enjoy all these aspects of it that like are just, I enjoy all these things about it. And for me, it comes natural to me. But I don't want to pull, like, if something works for a couple, sure, but you got like, for us, we had a dynamic that we like, and we found somebody that is compatible with that. And I think that matters a lot too.
Yes.
Definitely with this person, it's going to be trial and error to find that out, but you don't have to invest all, like I said, you don't have to swear fealty. You don't have to overly invest to get to know her, but definitely keep your feelings in check, because like you're saying, you don't want to put in and then she's not even like emotionally available.
Yeah,
I totally agree with that.
You have to look out. You have to self-preservation.
Yes.
Because you do have to protect yourself, and that's something I wish I knew.
Yeah.
Earlier on in my life, and I wish, again, bad time in my life. Of course, I wasn't going to recognize those things because I was just, oh, somebody loves me, so I'm gonna just roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when we're young, we tend to. But
I wish I knew that sooner. But it's okay, because I'm glad that I didn't, because I am where I am now, and
yeah,
I found my person.
Yeah, and
that's all that matters to me.
Oh, thank you. I agree too. I mean, I had to kiss a lot of frogs. Well, I don't want to say a lot. Well, whatever. Fuck
a lot of frogs to find a princess.
We're hey, we don't do body count out here, okay?
Yeah.
But I had to kiss frogs to really learn and unlearn a lot of things. But it really depends. We don't know much of this person's personality and lifestyle. And to me, what's more important than a past of dating men is she still a servant to the patriarchy, or has she deconstructed that? Yeah. Because that is important to me. And I look out for that. When I was dating, there were lesbians that were still Christian, still male-centered. Like, I was like, what on earth? Maybe it's because of where we live. I won't say where, but maybe some areas are more rural, or some areas are more in certain regions. And it's like, and I was like, I'm more radical than these people. How?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be rude about them, but I'm just saying I had things that I had worked on in myself for a long time, and I prioritized certain things and values that I had that I really wanted aligning. And, that matters a lot with dating. So definitely, I think it's good to be wary of these things, because you do want to find somebody that gets you, and you want to find someone that's right for you. And if she is on a different wavelength, then she is. So, just if you do start to peep that, disengage. You don't have to have a big to do about it, but just disengage,
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I agree.
I think we got it.
Okay. So we found another one, and it is called, I am insecure about my girlfriend's friend. I'm 21 female, and my girlfriend is 20 female. Yeah. Okay, that's weird. It is really weird when they...
Yeah, I don't like how they do that.
Yeah, have been together for over 2.5 years. Recently, my girlfriend made a new friend. She met her like a year ago. Her friend, let's call her L. She's exactly my girlfriend's type. She's tall, has long dark hair, and an Asian baddie. We're all Asian, BTW. Me and her are kind of similar in a way. We're both tall and have kind of the same look, but she looks more like an Insta baddie. Anyways, they would hang out together with each other. Well, come on, people. Hang out. You could have just said hang out together. Anyway, they would hang out together with each other, and I'm not usually a part of it because it's usually revolving around their sisters. My girlfriend's sister and Elle's sister are close friends. That's how they met. So I previously told my girlfriend I felt insecure seeing Elle because she's kind of everything I ever wanted to look like. But I didn't tell her to stop hanging out with her because I know that would be unfair to her and Elle. It's not Elle's fault. I'm insecure. Okay, thank you for mentioning that, because I was
Okay.
about to
Yeah, okay.
to scold you,
Yeah.
young lesbian. It's not Elle's fault. I'm insecure, but I don't know how to move past these feelings. She's the type of girl where things go her way because she's attractive. It's not somebody you want to be like.
Okay.
I know it's my own issue. I know I shouldn't project, but it's so hard. My girlfriend would talk about her hangouts with Elle. I would imagine things, and my brain starts spiraling. There's so many things going on here. This insecurity runs deep in me because an ex of mine would show me pictures of women that she wanted me to emulate.
Oh, that's scary.
I have several things I can say here. Those women all looked like Elle. So when I met Elle for the first time, those insecure feelings came rushing back to me. But Elle was lovely. She's nice, funny, and charming. I know there's nothing I know there's nothing between them, but I don't know how to stop being insecure. I get sad because my girlfriend is a sweetheart and I know she would never do anything, and I know it's a me problem. What do I do? Edit. I also can't do therapy because I don't have enough money, and therapy is extremely expensive in my country.
In most countries it is.
Okay.
I relate to that.
Yes.
It's like therapy's too expensive, so you gotta try to figure out how to self-help sometimes.
Right. And with the insecurity, I'm very glad that you realize it's a you thing.
Yeah.
And that it's really good that you want to get control over it because you don't want to affect yourself and your relationship. That is a really big thing. And especially for someone so young to be that aware of that, that's awesome. And I definitely applaud that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I can relate to some of this.
I knew that. I knew you would say that.
I can relate to some.
Sucks.
Yeah, it does really suck. I can relate to some of this, and being, feeling that pressure to try and be something you're not, and you think that the other person wants you to be something that you're not, and this person that you're not. And yeah, the biggest thing, to be honest, for me is how you're feeling is natural. It's okay to kind of feel like, hey, but ultimately in this situation, if you are feeling insecure about your girlfriend's friend, I would talk with her calmly and kindly about it. I would let your feelings be known and just say, hey, I just wanted to communicate with you. Like, I understand that you're really close friends with this person, and you have been for a long time. And, I respect your friendship with this person, and I'm not telling you can't hang out with them. I just want to voice how I feel. And, I just want you to be aware of how I feel. Because I just think it's all around important to communicate your feelings, period. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And, with your girlfriend, if she's receptive to that and say, hey, it's okay, everything's okay. Ella's just my friend, blah, blah, blah. That everything is okay. But if she starts to act defensive, that's a whole other thing. And people are entitled to have friends. It's okay for people to have friends. It's just if she's acting inappropriately with Elle, like doing things that she would do with you, like hold her hand and act weird like that, then that'd be a cause for concern. But if they're just having a if they're just being friends,
Yeah.
that's different. But
it's good she's talking about the hangouts. I think it'd
yes,
actually be
yeah,
more suspicious
oh
if she
yeah,
was
if she was hiding,
withholding,
yes,
but keep
yeah,
an eye
it's
on the behavioral things like
yes,
you've said, for sure.
oh yeah, yeah,
Keep an eye if
and
anything
weird,
escalates.
right? Or if she's like sitting there in the dark at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then she feels you stir, and then she shoves her phone under her pillow,
Texting
shit like
nonstop
that, yeah.
or hanging out at
Oh
later
yeah,
hours than they really is necessary.
yes, but ultimately, for me, I again, I'm going to circle back to I definitely applaud you realizing that
Yeah.
a lot of this is a you thing. And there's nothing wrong with that, because we all
No.
have our own little things. We all have our own little insecurities. We all have our own, things that we have to work through and we have to get through to feel more secure within ourselves.
Yeah.
So we don't project that out onto other people. And there have been times in my life where I'm like, man, I wish I could be more like blah blah blah, so my partner respects me and cares about me more. Or man, I wish I could, I've been there, and I've had to get myself over that hump, and to realize, you know what, if this person doesn't love me and see me for me, then they're not my person, and I don't want to be with them.
Yes.
If they want me to be like someone else, that's not my responsibility. That's a them thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to allow them to project that onto me. I wish I realized that before I dug myself a 10-year hole that I lived in with a bog witch.
Okay. Well, okay.
I'm just
I
being
have
silly.
some
I'm
thoughts.
being
I
silly.
don't
But
wanna
anyway,
forget them.
your turn. Go.
Okay, so where people F up sometimes is telling people their type. In reality, a lot of people usually have, I mean, some people are very rigid and have a set type, but a lot of times people do have, they might prefer a more masculine or feminine, or they might prefer certain, but when it comes to aesthetics, a lot of times people can be attracted to different people. And where people F up is saying their type. I think the girlfriend messed up by making it known that this is one of her types. I think she shouldn't have said that. We need to stop doing that in general. And it shows up in all kinds of dating. It shows up in the straight world. It shows up in the gay world. It's kind of ridiculous.
But a lot of the time, people ask.
Oh, that's true.
Partners will ask.
You could say you're one of my types. You could say you're my type, because if this person is also your type, it is not lying to say you're my type, even if you have another type, if it is truthful.
Yeah.
If
there are people,
if she's not, then that can be a whole other story. But I'm just saying that was my first thought, is the girlfriend shouldn't have said that. And I've made that mistake in the past and had to remedy that, because for me, I was singling out a certain thing because they usually didn't give me the time of day when it came to a certain type. And so I thought that meant maybe I had to figure it out. I had to figure out, when it came to straight dating, I knew kind of like my playing field in that regard. And then when it came to dating women, I had a gauge on that just over the years, but then I did have to fine tune that. And so, and I also just learned to not really make it a thing, and just, you're going to gauge if someone's into you based on, like, if you're flirting, like, just by the behaviors, just by the mannerisms. But there is one other thing, what she said that
I want to say this before I forget too. There are also people who will take that, you share your type with them. They'll ask you share the type, and then they I'm trying to find a way to say this. It sounded better in my brain than it was coming out of my mouth. But there are also people who will only pick and choose certain parts of you, and they won't see all of you. They'll just say, oh, I am going to ignore everything else about you but these two things that match what my type is.
Oh, I would just not give them the time of day.
Yeah. I've had to learn that a long time ago. I've had to learn that over the years, where it's like, because again, it goes back to, you know, people won't see you fully.
Yeah.
That's a really fucked up reality with dating in either world,
Yeah.
in the gay world or the straight world. People will pick, not when you find the right person,
Yeah.
but people will pick and choose what they are attracted to and what they find attractive in you and what they gravitate towards, and they'll choose to see a couple of different things about you and neglect the rest. They'll, you know, let that be physical attraction. It mostly revolves around that, something externally about you physically. It was that way for me anyway. It was more of a, oh, you have a nice smile and you have tattoos, so I'm gonna date you, but fuck everything else. Whatever.
Yeah.
You can get used, or you can. It's really invalidating as a person to be, I guess, in a way, only chosen for aesthetical purposes. You know.
I guess I just look at this so differently because in straight dating, I had to have such a tough skin. I am not a lot of men's type. Okay. So I really got used to not being like, I'm okay with not being people's type. I don't really care. Now, of course, because I wasn't so much into men, it was a lot easier. However, it did help me when I started dating women, having that thicker skin and basically strengthening that muscle when I started to date women. And if I wasn't their type, I didn't take it as deep or as much of a cut or insult.
Yeah.
Hold on, though. There was another thing I don't want to forget.
I want to reply to what you just said.
Oh, okay.
For me, I was a novelty because of the fact that I'm a masked lesbian and I look like, I dress more masculine. So it was like, on that end of the spectrum, on the lesbian side of the spectrum, I was seen as a novelty because I wasn't quite, I didn't quite fit the mold, but I looked more like a guy, but I'm a woman. So a lot of women would see that and pick and choose the more masculine traits that I present and say, okay. And then that's how I got myself in the positions that I did with the women who would end up cheating on me with guys, because it's like it wasn't good enough for them and they only picked and choose. They cherry picked what they recognized as attractive in me because it reminded them of that male aspect.
Well, what stands out to me is you saying good enough. Who we are, like, honestly, I don't give a F if I'm not good enough for whoever that I'm not going to end up with. I don't care. We need to, and I know that's easier said than done, and I'm not perfect at it. I've worked on it over the years. However, when it came to straight dating, I had a really hard time. There is only a very small demographic that I could even coexist with. So, and it didn't, obviously, because I'm lesbian, it wasn't going to work. But I'm just talking about when I was in the dark ages, that's what I call it. So I really had to figure out how to not let it get to me when there was just a level of incompatibility that it just isn't working. I had to realize this isn't anything wrong with me. I'm not a bad person. I am just not the archetype that suits a lot of people. Now, when I started to date women, my dating pool, like, basically, I'm more well received on this side of the fence. My personality, everything. And it's because just energetically, I'm just more compatible with the energies over here. And so it opened my mind to not take it so hard or personal
Mhm.
or moralize that this makes people bad or good or whatever. Now, the
Mhm.
behaviors you're mentioning, those are not
Yes.
good behaviors, but I'm
No, no,
talking
no, no,
about
no.
baseline, finding
Yeah.
out who you're even going to suit to
Yes.
even start dating. So now we're getting into the tumbleweeds. However, when it comes to this situation, you know, she's worried about this girl. Basically sounds like she's the hotter version of the girl. She's saying she's like an insta baddie. You know, they're both, you
She
know,
was talking about her girlfriend.
No, I thought
Oh.
she's talking about the friend. She's saying the friend is
Oh,
like
yeah.
basically an insta baddie version of herself. However, she's saying we're both tall, we're both Asian. So I can understand a world where her girlfriend would find both of them pretty, or the girlfriend she has more pretty. But in the end of the day, it's not just about looks. She needs to, this is how I'd come about this. And this is where me having a passive dating men gives me, I don't want to say edge because I don't use it for evil, I use it for good. Because instead of, I would approach this a different way. And I like the way you brought it up. But if you want a different way, I would have a little, I would have a little check-in date thing, something low key, have a dinner, but I would do like a check-in and like, how are you feeling about our relationship? And I would take this friend out of it and say, you know, let's go over like, are we, you know, how are we doing? And are we accomplishing our couple goals and our individual goals? How well are you, like, are we still in love? Do we need more romance? And this way, it would help address some of this insecurity without making this other person the focal point of your relationship and almost feed the monster that is the insecurity that is eating you. It will also give you clarity on where your girlfriend stands, on how firm she is in your relationship. This is it. I don't want to say tactic, but when I was straight dating, this approach will help you get to the root of things without seeming like, again, without interrogating, without really. And if you've already tried the emotional approach of, well, both are emotional, but if you've already tried the approach of like, hey, this makes you uncomfortable, instead of having that conversation over, now it's okay to have that conversation, but say she's already tried that, maybe try this approach of like, let's reconnect. How are you feeling? How are you doing in this relationship? And by her answers, that will help you to know how invested she is in this, if she is still all in, if she is still all about you. And I would do my best in that conversation not to turn this into bringing this other person
right. You don't
up.
want to project your insecurities
And do not bring this other girl up.
No.
You might
like, and if your girlfriend brings her up, then that will tell you a lot. That's the open door for you. It'll tell you a lot, but that'll be the open door for you to ask more questions and be inquisitive about it.
I was going to say
not
inquisitive.
Don't place blame, and remember that you yourself are feeling insecure.
But if she brings the other girlfriend up in a way that you know is kind of like very telling that maybe she might have a crush on her, I would lead with curiosity, but note it in your head, clock it.
Yes,
for
keep it.
You might need to
put it in your note. Put it in notes in your phone.
Well, it might have to be an exit if this person, if your girlfriend starts talking about this other person, and then you see escalation in their hanging out, their behavior. If you see any flirting, that's going to be your answer to exit.
Right.
Exit. We don't have to wait till we have proof of cheating. If someone's crossing these kind of lines, you can go. But I wouldn't jump to that now. I would collect information, and the best way to collect information is to seem a neutral party. Well, you're not neutral, you're the girlfriend, but to seem level and to seem cool, calm, and collected.
Right. Because that's the only way that you'll really get conducive conversation.
And the truth
is if you present yourself calmly.
I've done this many times with different topics. I did this with an ex where if you ask a dude how they feel about porn and you seem upset, you are of course gonna get a lie.
Like they say corn.
Yeah. If you ask them like, oh, what are your thoughts on that? Or what do you think about that? I would say it in a way that's a little bit sneakier, but just to give you an idea, I would not indicate whether I'm for or against, and I would not give them my stance. Now, you still might get a lie, but I mean, this approach works with women too in various categories or the same category as that. So, some of the things I have found and that I like do translate when it comes to dating, and I feel like it has helped me. And in this case, I feel like that would help you. That's something, I hate to say tactic. I would say it is a approach that works.
Yes.
To, help you to figure out answers without making them defensive.
Yes. And also, I wanted to say this. If it's available in your country, I would check into sliding scale therapy.
Oh.
If it's available. I'm not sure where you're from, but that's something that might be useful to look into because therapy is very helpful.
Yeah.
And it is, I highly advocate for it. I've been in therapy for a long time, and it's really it's greatly beneficial. It's a lot of hard work, but it's so worth it.
Yeah.
So
also,
it's helpful to you. It's helpful to your external relationships. It helps you be able to navigate. It gives you the tools to be able to navigate life a little easier and navigate relationships with people. So
yeah, and if you can't afford therapy, there are tools that can help you. Like guided meditation helped me a lot when I had anxiety and a lot of racing thoughts or things like that. And I did guided because it sounds silly, but having that, it's like you don't have to be perfect at it or anything. And you could do non-guided meditation. I just started with guided and then did some non and some guided meditation. But also
there's a lot of really good self-help YouTubes too.
Yeah, there are. I mean, you do have to be careful. There's some gurus that are problematic.
Well, there are some that are the psychologists. There's a lot of really good psychologists.
There's
on
some
YouTube
that are good,
that are helpful. There are a lot of
I watch a lot of videos I don't say a lot, but I do watch videos like that, and I found a couple over the years that were giving sound advice, and it really helped me. And I did make sure that you can actually check their credentials and stuff, and there are ones that you can, and there are some where
usually they'll say, "I'm a licensed therapist."
Yeah, usually they'll say that, but they usually have a link that you can check it out.
Oh yeah.
And also there were a couple where I didn't mind them, but then they weren't really my style. A lot of people like Psychology in Seattle. I find his approach a little too soft for what I need personally, but he does give great. He's really good, and a lot of people like him. He's also liberal, and he's very, but I don't agree with all his takes. So there's some stuff. I prefer women therapists, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get to the next one. Unless you have anything else. Okay.
Just keep going and know that you can get through it. And there's more healthy options than to.
Yeah. And if it turns out that they do have a crush on this person or whatever, then better now than many years down the line.
Yeah. You're with them for 2.5 years. You don't want to be in it for 10 years and find out they're cheating without.
I mean, it's crazy because not crazy, but it's one of those things when people really feel, oh, I've already invested 2 years and I don't know how I'm going to leave. But then it's like, if you invest more, you're going to feel triple that or more. Yeah. You'll feel, oh, I've invested this many years. So it's like, if things do go off the rails, look out for you and don't feel guilty for that. And like I said, you don't have to wait till it gets on that scale of bad. If it is not good for you, then you will know when, and trust your gut for sure. Trust your gut.
Yes.
But I do think you're in the stage of just collecting more information, and definitely just don't spiral on your insecurity, but it isn't bad to be observant. And I know that's a fine line, and it can be a hard one to navigate.
Yes.
Okay. Got another one. This one is, my GF keeps getting accused of being on dating apps.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Hey ladies, I've been with my GF for 9 months now, and I love her very much. I'm currently working on finding a job in her town because she's been asking me to move in. I'm finally ready to take that step, but I keep finding out weird things. I feel like they are signs, but I also feel like maybe I'm just being crazy. I was hoping I could find some advice on here. Okay, so she's trust issues. So I've been really, really honest and upfront and loyal to her from the start. But from the start, she hasn't had that same respect for me. Red flag. Um, what do we say about when people accuse all the time? Projection.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into this, but
Mm-hmm.
I already see a red flag here. Let's keep reading. She was married before me to a woman who she can't seem to let go of. They were talking and texting behind my back for a while until the ex-wife started coming at me. A few weeks ago, she came at me telling me that my GF has been looking at her TikTok. Why did I say it like has been looking at her TikTok, and she even sent me all the screenshots. I felt so stupid and really hurt, but I forgave her. Today, I got a message from a friend asking me if we were still together because she saw her on
Tammy.
Tammy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the dating app,
It's
right?
a
That's
lesbian
oh,
dating app.
that's what okay. I've never been on it, but I've heard of it. I've barely heard of it, so it must be new. Or
It's been
it's like
around for a
her,
while.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, I know
basically.
about her, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so she asked me if we were still together because she saw her on Tammy. And it said she was active today. This isn't the first time this friend has told me she's seen her on there. The last time we talked about it, and she swore she deleted all the dating apps and didn't want them and just wanted to continue being together. Today, when I told her that again this friend was coming to tell me she's on there, she flipped out. She started telling me to have a good day and that I can believe whatever I want. She was super defensive. She made me feel like I was in the wrong for even bringing it up. Am I dumb, or is it obvious that she doesn't want me? Why would she be with me and tell me she loves me, then let me leave my job and my family and friends if she's playing games? I don't understand. Can she go? I don't understand, and I can't go to her for any clarity. Okay, how old are these people? Doesn't say, but I can tell they're young. Only 9 months in.
Well, if she had an ex-wife, I don't think they're that young.
Maybe not. But they're acting. This is way too much drama for 9 months. Well, I guess the speed of lesbian relationships does move a little quicker. That's something I had too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard of it, but I didn't want to.
Yeah, lesbian time is a whole.
It's another. Now,
it's like a whole other universe.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to overly believe in stereotypes, but this one is they do move faster. Now it depends on the couple how fast, but they do move faster in general. But still,
like
9
we've
months.
Gone through some shit that people usually go through later on.
Well,
kind of,
but we knew each other for a little longer. I would say
shit. This
we
month
took
is
it a
gonna
little
be a
slow.
year since we've known each other.
That's kind of why I disagree because yes,
we've been together for five months this month.
I think the things that I don't know, the milestones I would say because we've known each other a year, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyways, I've heard of lesbians talking about hitting stuff like this at where we're at. So I really don't think I think we're kind of on
we're on track.
Yeah, we're not that obscure. But
thank Christ neither of us have ex spouses.
Oh yeah, I'm really happy about that. Okay.
Thank God.
Thank Goddess.
Goddess.
Okay. Be careful when you're waving that. Okay. So she's playing with my back scratcher. Okay, anyways. She's making little farm lines. It looks like you are making a garden. Okay, anyway.
It says Zen blanket garden.
My fleece blanket. So
anyway.
I'm just saying because we're looking down right now.
Yes,
okay.
Just being silly.
So for 9 months, this is a lot going on. And also a lot of people, when friends come to them, it's like there's that saying, don't shoot the messenger, but it usually happens because why would these friends be warning you? What what do they have to gain to warn you? Unless they were like super in love with her, but it doesn't sound like that.
I think they're just being good friends.
I think they're actually being like, hey, like I saw this. This is where I have stopped being the messenger because I'm tired of the fallback.
And you just get frustrated after a while because you're trying to help somebody and they don't even.
Usually they end up yelling at you, and it's like, look, I'm just telling you this is what I saw. Do what you will with it. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but you should know that I saw this, and last time I was the messenger, I told them, like, I have nothing to gain from this. Like, I'm not trying to be with anyone in this scenario. Like, I'm happy where I am. So, like, if I'm telling you it's legitimately, I'm just, like, trying to be a good friend, but that usually isn't even worth it. So anyways, be careful when you're the messenger, just letting anyone know. But so this friend is telling her, like, she's on dating apps. She's still on dating apps. You already had this come up in the past and you forgave her. I would have walked away.
Looking at her ex's TikTok.
If she's still in love with her, okay? You need to wake up to that. I'm not trying to be, look, I say this with love, but that is a level of she's emotionally unavailable. Yeah. You should not move for someone who is emotionally unavailable. You should not change your life for somebody that clearly can't commit to you.
Yeah.
And these are multiple instances that have occurred and have occurred before, like, and it's showing up again. She will just continue to steamroll you if you keep giving her chances.
Yeah.
It is time. Cancel your plans to move. You say you would be walking away from your family, your friends. So you're the one that has people to lose and loved ones to leave. You got to think of
self-preservation. Self-preservation seems to be the theme of this episode, which is okay because it's okay for things to have themes sometimes. But yes, you gotta think of yourself and how you feel and how this all is making you feel. And if she's being defensive and weird and just getting whatever, so the biggest thing is her still being hung up on her ex and being on those dating sites because she's not just hung up on her ex, she's messing around in other places.
She's going
and
fishing.
I've never been. I have dating apps, and I never have entertained them. That's just my personal opinion and my personal preference. Everybody's different.
I gave them a try when I was very bored and alone. However, the people that are on them are like this.
Yeah.
Usually they shouldn't even be on there. They're usually in relationships that they're not like the OP, but like the girl, like where there's so many people in relationships on those things. By the way, if someone only messages you during work hours, they're cheat. Okay, so, no, they're cheat. It's not. They are a cheat. Okay, it doesn't matter if you have no evidence beyond. They're cheat.
That's a really good example of. I have no idea how these dating apps even work. I don't care to. I've never cared.
Well, it's not even just dating apps. If you met someone and you're talking on Messenger and literally like by evening you're ghosted until the next day and it's 9 to 5, like
I wouldn't even entertain it.
I would not either, but there's a lot of people that are actually in this. You'd be surprised. I'm just letting people know. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. So yeah,
I think our advice is just dump her. You're better than that. She's not
scaring me with that.
She's not worth your time.
Yeah.
And you should not uproot your life for someone who obviously is too hung up on someone else.
No, please.
Yeah.
Please.
You want to save yourself.
Emotional availability is very important.
Yes.
Even if someone isn't hung up on an ex, well, that's a big deal. But these her being on dating apps and all this, like you said, both are terrible. But together, like
it's like a recipe for pure and utter chaos.
You will never have this person is not going to give you monogamy, and that is clearly what you are seeking. So, I mean, I think she should be alone. She needs to be single. And
she seems like she's very mixed up and she doesn't know what she wants.
Right. And there are some people that do play games. You were asking, why would she want me to move if she's playing games? Sometimes people get lost in the private investigator detective mode, and they're trying to find the why, and they're connecting the dots on that board with the yarn. And
Yeah.
look, at this point, you may never understand the why, or you may never get all the answers, but there's no point. It's almost like you're hurting yourself by trying to stay and figure it all out. Sometimes it's better to leave, and maybe you will get clarity in time, but I wouldn't invest your energy in that. I would not be trying to reach out to people to figure it out.
Yeah.
I think in time you'll just realize, like, she just was not into you the way that you were about her. And that's as simple as it is. Now, all the why gets people mixed up, but the reality is you are committed to her and you love her in a way that she is not for you. And you having a one-sided relationship is hell on earth.
Oh,
it's
awful.
hell on earth.
It is terrible.
So, yeah. So, and we're not judging. Like, we've all been there in one scenario or another.
Yeah.
But I think it's time to go. Don't invest more time. You're 9 months in. Actually, 9 months.
Your pregnancy's length in the relationship.
I don't think that. Well,
9 months.
That doesn't apply.
I'm just being silly.
It's not that long, is what I'm saying. It sounds long to you right now.
It's like that in between. Like
it's better than a couple years,
right? Or 10 years,
or longer,
15 years,
or long, or whatever, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, you don't want to. Obviously, she's also not worth reasoning with because she just dismisses you.
Oh yeah, that part
in and of
we
itself
needed
too.
to go over. Yeah, she was like flipping out.
Yeah, freaking out on you. That's a surefire way. You don't want to have anything to do with
also,
her.
Innocent
because
people.
She's being a cheat and whatever.
Innocent people do not react like that.
No.
Point blank. Period.
No.
Point blank. Period. So that tells you right there. You don't need the case file with all the evidence on the table with you're
being fed the evidence.
You are not in a forensic lab, okay? It's time to go.
Yeah.
It's time to go.
Yeah.
Actually,
yourself.
She has more evidence with the friends coming forward than a lot of people get. So and the dating apps, you'd already seen them. So it's time to go.
You gotta save yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Heartbreak.
I guess we'll just keep repeating ourselves if we go on. But
if
anyone's in a similar situation or one with a parallel to this,
dump her.
Dump whoever you're with.
And move on to someone who cares and someone who respects you and loves you for who you are.
Also, I find
emotionally available.
When it comes to, I'm going to say this very carefully. Say your straight friend was giving you this scenario, but it was a boyfriend. What advice would you give her? Because I feel like when it's men, it is very obvious because, well, let's be real. They're animals. But I find sometimes with lesbians, they will almost give, like, it's almost like they'll give an extra chance. So it's a thought exercise that maybe this could help somebody, where picture it was a straight friend telling you about her stupid boyfriend and saying the exact scenario back to you.
Right.
And think of how crazy that would be. And it might help you to be like, oh my God, they're totally being, they're totally unfaithful. At that point, it's obvious. Maybe that doesn't help you. I find it helps me. And maybe that's just from my perspective, but it does help me because it's like, no, this is ridiculous. If a man did this, it's certainly still ridiculous on this side of the fence.
Yeah, 100%. On either side of the fence, either world you look at it, either lens you look at it through, it's still wrong and it's still messed up and it's still a time waster. And an energy waster.
Well, and I bring that up to say, because I bring that up to say, I see, like, and I love these girls, but lesbians will say, oh, my friend said this or whatever. And they're like, clearly, but they're saying it in like a quirky, witty way. Like, they're not trashing the person. They're just it's kind of like the fun man hating content. Like, it's like the, but the reason why I say that is, it can be obvious to them when a straight friend says that. So let's give that same energy to these scenarios that are popping up that really mimic that. And maybe, I understand the differences here, but I'm just saying it can be a helpful thought exercise when someone is clearly like a menace.
Mm-hmm. Like this girl.
Yeah, she clearly is a menace. So let's
and she's
give it that
life.
Yeah. Okay, well with that, I think
Yeah.
it's time to end this one. This was super fun.
Yeah, it's
Hopefully-
been fun,
hopefully
and I
you
like the
enjoyed it.
theme.
I do.
All about self-preservation and protecting your own, protecting and honoring how you feel and how things make you feel, and gaining your power back and learning when to say no.
Oh my
I'm
God,
not
I
going to be
just
taught
realized
like
the
this,
title.
or I'm not.
Insecurity or self-preservation.
Ooh, there we go.
Because it definitely hits the spectrum of the things we
Yes.
talked about
Yes.
today, and also the different sides of the coin that we had to talk about. Anyway,
I like that.
thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you for watching, and everyone have a good day.
And
be kind to each other.
Yes.
And yourself.
Yep. And we'll be back soon, most likely next week. And like I said last time, if you didn't see the last video, if you don't see us posting for a week or like, we'll be posting once a week. But if we aren't, check our community post on here, and if there is something, we will let you know, like last time.
Yeah. So, like, comment, and subscribe,
please. Like, comment, subscribe, hype us up, because we are a baby channel, and hyping.
Share with your friends.
Hyping definitely tells the algorithm to keep, and the algorithm is just like it's how videos get into the recommended. It's the back end of YouTube with the algorithm and all that stuff. So it definitely will help grow this channel, and also it will help recommend us to people that are searching for content by lesbians or anyone in the anyone in the community, basically. Obviously we're inclusive to everyone in the community too, or any allies. So that would help us to reach those people too. Yeah, and with our videos, we hope that it does help. Our advice may help people as a whole. Yeah. Which is good. Yeah, and I hope that sometime we can get enough people that if people would want, there could be like a way Q&A kind of thing. No, there'd be a way to send an email and then we could respond. But we aren't there yet, and I would do a vibe check with the community if they would want that later down the line. But we definitely need, I would say, to get there, we need like, I don't know, 1,000 subscribers maybe. Yeah. That's still small, but we need enough people to where people would be engaging and interested. Yes. Because you never get the full amount of people. So even if we get less, that would still be worth our time if there's a handful of people still engaging with us and wanting that. But anyways, even still, we are going to give this channel good energy, even at being a small channel. I don't care if we're, a baby channel for a while. Like, I enjoy doing this. But obviously we want people to watch and enjoy it. So yes. Because we enjoy making this content for you. Oh yeah, it's super fun. I enjoy it. Yes. All right, guys, we'll be back next week. Bye. Have a good day. One more time.